Hello folks, Lisa here. Today's class is going to be a short 10-minute class on working through breath and your pelvic floor. So my background is coming from the foundational understanding of the body, and that we should not try to manipulate or overcompensate, but to instead allow the breath and allow for proper, deeper awareness of the muscle engagement. So I'm going to teach you today about co-contraction, using your pelvic floor, using your breathing diaphragm, and then allowing for the cylinder of your core, the corset, your muscular corset, to help you create more deeper breath and engagement, okay? We typically breathe very shallow, especially when we're on the go and we're going from thing to thing, place to place, task to task. We tend to breathe much more shallow, and this is why having a breathing practice, or also called a pranayama practice, every day is fantastic for helping to alleviate symptoms of stress. And this will also, most of all, help with self-regulation. So that's really exciting. We're going to self-regulate. All right, so I'm going to invite you to use a little towel for today's class. If you don't have a towel, no problem. You're going to put your hands on your ribs instead of using the towel. Okay? Let's come to our backs. With the towel, I'm putting this right under the shoulder blades, right below the line of the shoulder blades. Okay? And I'm going to come all the way down to reclined position. Now from here, I'm holding my towel pretty taut, and I can feel it right where my bra strap would be, and breathing deeply into the back body, into the sacrum. Exhale with a slight opening of the mouth. Inhale in through the nose, down through the back ribs, side ribs, into the towel or into your hands. Exhale, squeeze in from your pelvic floor, up through your core. And then just check and make sure that you have your feet about a fist distance apart, also known as sitting bone distance apart. This will really help you to let the heels get heavy, and then let the femur bones to get heavy, the thigh bones. If you notice that you are still tense in your hips, you can change the position of your footing. You can go a little more forward, just like this, just inching in. Notice if that feels heavier in the hips. You can also try to wiggle it out. Sometimes we have to wiggle out our stuff. Inhale into the ribs, into the towel, down into your low back and sacrum and sit bones. Exhale, squeeze in from your sit bones. The middle of your cylinder is engaging. Inhale down and wide. Exhale, sit bones, pelvic floor, pulling, drawing in. And just notice if you're moving other parts of your body, if you're trying to compensate with other muscles. Know that This is not about your exertion. This is not about the intensity. This is truly about your awareness. Inhaling through your nose, down through the back ribs, side ribs, expand into the towel. Exhale, cinch the waist of your TVA, your core, the deepest layer, pulling in and up. Do one more on your own. Notice sensation. And I will be honest that if you were doing a lot of stressful things or running around or moving around, before doing this video, it will be more difficult to relax. And that means it will take more time. And that's why it's important that you give yourself this space and this time that you've carved out to commit to your self-regulation. I'm going to invite you to try another technique to allow for deeper awareness. Bring your hands right above your pubic bone. So if you can imagine exactly where your pubic bone is, right? And you have your index fingers pointing onto that spot, your pubic symphysis, and then you're letting the rest of the finger go to the outsides, the lateral direction of your hips, okay? That's the area of your TVA, from your pubic bone to your ASIS, out there. So, knowing that's where it is, let's let the hands rest on top of that area. This is where I want you to put your hands in your reclined or supine home position. Now your hands are on top of the TVA, the lower section of your TVA. And as you inhale, you'll feel the expansion into your hands, an expansion into the sit bones. Exhale, pull in from the sit bones, smile your TVA down away from your hands. You should feel like a vacuum seal. Inhale, expand down the back of your ribs, posterior lateral rib cage into the sacrum. Exhale, smile the TVA down away from your hands. Continue focusing on your breath. You might need to check with your form, notice if your feet came apart or if the heels are heavy. Make sure they're heavy, hips are heavy. We're not trying to move. We're just breathing and engaging. That's all we're doing. Inhale down into the back ribs, side ribs, sacrum. Exhale, smile, cinch, vacuum seal your lower transverse abdominis away from your hands. Two more breaths here. Expand down, down. Exhale, cinch in and up, in and up. Inhale, expand, posterior lateral ribs out. Exhale, co-contract your pelvic floor, your TVA, your cylinder of your core. Really good work, right? You're starting to feel a lot more awareness around your pelvic floor, your core, and your pelvic diaphragm moving with your breathing diaphragm. Okay, now we'll do one more. Take your right hand to your heart, kind of right below the heart here, and your left hand right below your belly button. Okay, I want you to start to notice deeper breath. Inhale, expand into the back ribs and into the top hand. And down into the back of your sacrum, into the front of your hand above your pubic bone. As you exhale, feel the squeeze down away from your bottom hand and then from your top hand down from the ribs. Inhale, expand out wide like a balloon in all the directions of your cylinder. Exhale, smile the TVA, co-contract your pelvic floor, peeling down away from your hands. Don't activate the arms, I just did that, so relax your arms. Keep the weight in your hands heavy, the weight in your heels heavy. It's so funny how we tense our hip flexors all the time. Okay, again, inhale, expand out and wide into your cylinder. Exhale, cinch in from the cylinder like you're squeezing the last bit of toothpaste out of the tube without compensating with your shoulders or face. Inhale, expand down and out and wide and broad. Exhale, squeeze, vacuum seal, cinch, and narrow. On your own. You can continue to stay here for as long as you need, another 10 minutes. I've even stayed for an hour in this position because I needed it. I needed just to breathe and calm my nervous system. There is so much stress, so much that we hold in our hips, in our parasympathetic, sympathetic nervous system, which is part of the vagus nerve that goes down into the hip flexors here, which I'll be making more videos about. But that's important to understand why our hip flexors always get tense from just life and breathing and feeling the need to go and fight, flight. So this type of breath work is just fantastic at self-regulating and creating more engagement through your pelvic floor. It's similar to Kegels, but we're using all the four corners instead of just one part of the pelvic floor. So engaging all the way through on your exhale is going to help create more health around your pelvic floor. Thank you so much, and feel free to stay as long as you need to. Have a beautiful rest of your day or night.